Hello, everyone. Let me turn a little bit over here. That way you can see the sunlight, see me a little bit better. Oh, that's a lot better, I think. No, probably still horrible. Yeah, that's okay. That'll do. so, welcome to the Creator Metaphysical Store. I do want to apologize. I have been dealing with a specific entity in my home. I've been trying to get rid of it, but it looks like I'm gonna have to whip out some tools. It's just like to get rid of it. I'm gonna get some stuff to get rid of it. So don't worry, guys. It'll be taken care of. This thing has kind of been like very draining, and I'm thinking it's more of a self-created parasite than anything. Um, because of the fact that I always worry about my safety and my security and my shelter, and I think I have created this parasite that I need to get rid of once and for all. So I'm gonna deal with it. Do not worry about it, guys. It's fine. But I wanted to record some profound experiences that I've had in my life that I feel like needs to be shared. So to first start off, this does correlate with some of the videos that I've done where I've talked about my life's experience. This is part of the section, the sequence. So it was after, I believe I talked about this in one of the previous videos where I was having this punishment where I was swimming laps and um, I don't know for how long. I lost track of how many laps. Um, and my adopted mom comes out, convinces my dad to let me out of the pool. And I remember dying and seeing my body and all that. Um, to this day, I'm going to say this because it is in my heart. Who knows, maybe this will change um, after a few ayahuasca ceremonies, but I would have been happy to die that day, whether it be by drowning or by what happened. And, I really, wish they would have let me die because of all the stuff that I've been through. It's just not worth it to me. I've had to suffer and go through all these trials and tribulations, and I get why. I get the spiritual aspect why. But the physical part of me is like, I really don't have to go through that shit anymore. Why am I still struggling with this? I guess it's more of the inner child complaining, and that's something I still got to work on to this day. And, I've let go of a lot. All the stuff I really let go of stuff from the people that were involved, but I guess in a way I haven't let go of that energy from within, and that's something I still need to work on. But what I've learned, it was about a year later, I think it was like my 8th birthday. Um, I wake up out of my body and I realized that I was thinking there was my brother over there, right? And I was like, "Is that my brother?" And it's like I zoomed into the wall, so it was like I almost hit the wall, and I figured out that the wheel of thought was very you could use that I could use my thoughts to project where I was going to go. But then some angels came and they introduced themselves as Archangel Metatron and Archangel Xenophon. And they said, we needed to take you to heaven. We needed you to talk to God, the Creator, and that you have some stuff that you need to do. So upstairs. So I was like, okay, you know, cool. For all I know, they could have been demons, okay? They could have been some fucked up spirits trying to do some weird stuff to me. That's just how innocent I was. And so we went up to heaven. I had that experience where I was seeing God, but I couldn't see his head. I saw everything else but his head. I saw all the different kinds of angels, thrones, seraphims, you name it. And then I saw all the saints on this side and all of the. And you saw how that energy, that little flicker. I don't know if y'all saw that. It was like something popped up on the screen for a minute. And then there were all these. It was the 24 elders, and I think the seniors were also there. I just couldn't see them. Were over there, and I know I saw Jesus. He came forward. I need you to stop touching me, and I need you to leave. I'm in the middle of something, and I do not appreciate you touching me where you are touching me. If I have to, I will get my guardian dragon, and I will have him kick you out. This is your last warning. Do you understand? Thank you. So, anyway, as I was saying, sorry, there's just like this pressure of someone projecting this energy. So I'm like, yeah, it's whatever. So, where was I? Oh yeah. So, okay. So I saw Yeshua, or okay, Jesus Christ. Paul came forward, and I was shown that by God that I could have had a normal life, happy wife, kid, 3 kids. Like I had 2 daughters and a son, and like it was super awesome life. But then he gave me the choice to be a teacher and to be a prophet and to be a minister, to tell people about I don't know if you just saw that again pop up on screen. To be a minister and to like tell people about the secret teachings, the lost teachings of God, and lost techniques too, as well, of energy techniques and stuff. So I chose the latter, but on 3 conditions. I should have also included myself, but I was being selfless. So I ask that my brother's needs, wants, and desires be met as long as they align with God's will and God's plan for Earth. And I ask that He would spare all my loved ones and everyone that I cared about from all these natural disasters and stuff, that are going to come, and that they would all go to heaven, right? And that I asked that he would forgive my adopted and biological parents for everything that they are doing, because I know that what they're doing, they know not what they do, right? Wow, so wise for such a young 8-year-old in the upstairs world, right? And then I said the third condition was that what was the third condition? Parent. Oh yeah, and the third condition was basically as long as I love the world and the whole planet and everything that, that did not like that he wouldn't destroy us and that he wouldn't start over from scratch, And he agreed to all these terms, and I said, okay, done deal. and I could hear Paul started singing, and he was singing. It's much like when I think it's called Lamentations, where you sing about all the trials and tribulations that you've gone through, that you will be going through. He was talking about singing songs of praise of what I will be providing for humanity. It was like blessings unto the soul who is before God, whom has walked this through these trials and tribulations to provide the Lord's message. It was something like along those lines. And then Jesus and Yeshua kissed my forehead. I got talked to like three of the elders, and I don't know their names, but I knew that I believe they were Meshach. What's it called? Bendigo, Meshach, and some other dude. The guys. They were there too, but I think I was getting gifts from the three elders, and they said that they would be there along my journey until I come back here. Um, that was that experience, and I went back to my body, and then I woke up. Then I had what I thought were dreams, but I realized now they weren't dreams. Where I traveled to a place that I can only describe as Shambhala, and I had been taught by these monks and these very high spiritual beings that um, about energy, sound, pressure points, different martial arts, how to go with the flow. The different elemental martial arts. The elemental martial arts do deal with Tai Chi and Ki and Wushu energy, but it's a little bit deeper because it's also bending the element of energy, the alchem. It's very alchemically transmutative. Um, so you could use it for like as a form of yoga to kind of you know you know change and transmute your surroundings and such. Um, but then I learned about crystals and sound healing, and then they told me to look into simotherapy and biogeometric energy signatures. Well, I was like 8 or 9. I was having these dreams when I was really young, so they didn't make sense to me, so I forgot about them. And then when I started becoming spiritual, I realized that a lot of those dreams weren't dreams. They were me going to these places and actually visiting these places and talking to these beings. When I was being abused as a child, when I would stand out in the rain and stuff, I had fairies and stuff talk to me all the time, keep me company, keep me warm. But then one day, the fairies said they couldn't help me. They could only watch over me from afar because the Queen Titania said that I guess I had to like be on my own 2 feet for now. Like from what I understood is that even though from what I understood from them was that Queen Titania is like a mother to me, but she also was like understanding enough that I have to be on my own. Like I have to like support myself on my own 2 feet. So like she couldn't really give support, that stern mother, but also the very loving mother too. Um, yeah, so I had talked to dragons when I was little, but I didn't realize that I thought they were just in my head, the little imaginary friend that, you think is just imaginary when it turns out, oh, wow, I was actually talking to dragons and stuff. And, I talked to these beings and they taught me how to use my gifts, what to do. They taught me all kinds of stuff. It wasn't until 16 that I started getting into what you call witchcraft, which later became the occult for me. And then I realized, like, oh, so that's who those creatures were, or that's what that experience was. So it was like started getting into that. And then it was around my 16th birthday where I had a dream where I was visited by. She introduced herself as my ocean mother. Her name was Scylla. She was a siren. My father was Triton. My grandfather's Poseidon, and my grandmother's Aphrodite. So on and so forth. And from she explained to me that she would set me to land, and in order for that to happen, I had to physically be very on that atomic molecular structure shift into being a human, like completely 100% human instead of 100% morpho, right? And I don't even understand the whole process of it, but it sounds like they did it, and at the same time, it can happen in that little sense, but in this also physical, it's also spiritual. So it's like basically I had to leave the ocean to go on land to mature, right? And I was just thinking about this the other day, how much I really love the ocean, and I want to be there for all the time, but I also, it's my comfort zone. And I have to be okay with being away from the ocean, and because I got to think of the ocean as a symbolization of the cosmic mother's womb. I can't be in my mother's womb forever. I got to leave, go on land, which is being born again, so to speak, and grow up and mature. And there's that inner child that was like, I want to just have fun and swim and play, but I also, this energy of like wanting to have fun and play, there's a time and place for that. There's a time and a place for that. And in order for that to take place, some work has to be involved. I have to mature and grow. And so there's that energy there that I've realized that, man, I realized that that's my comfort zone and that I need to grow up, And I feel like mushrooms are a good way for me to help have my ego deaths without being too without it being so um shall we say intense and overpowering to where I get lost in my shadow. Okay. Let's see. I mean, there are other experiences. Oh, in 2020, during that lunar eclipse and blood moon eclipse thing, I had been contacted by what I call the Grand Council. Um, okay, and so what the Grand Council is basically representatives from different species and races, like the dragons, different gods and goddesses of those pantheons, to Palladians and Syrians and stuff. So it's like all of that. There's like representatives from all those different realities and dimensions. And so they told me I needed to, number one, get control of my finances and to live on my own. And that I needed to do this because of my mission on planet Earth. And so where was I going with this? So like in order for me to do my mission, what I meant to do, I needed to release myself from the government, like, because I was an adult, what I call adult foster care system, and basically they have control of your money and your living situation. They wanted me to get out of that because I needed to be on my own in order to fulfill my mission. And they told me that my at the time, which was my attorney ad litem, but also who controlled my finances, they confirmed that she was taking some money out of my from my thing for herself, and they said, "Don't worry about it. What she has taken will be given back to you. It may not," and they said that don't expect it to be right away though. Like it'll come back, but it'll come back 2 to 3 times more in the future. And I didn't really understand what that was, what they meant by that. But and now I kind of understand that when I tried to prove that she was taking my money, it didn't work out. So I understand what they mean now, because I think that's going to come later in life where my business, my metaphysical store, will be very successful. So where was I? And they explained to me that they said things that were going to happen before they happened. Like they explained that Devin would start becoming very irate and mad and aggressive towards you, and that'll lead to you getting kicked out. To um, just they were explaining that she would be very resistant and want to keep control of the money. That Pamela would do that, and it happened. And those a lot of this stuff happened. I at first was going to dismiss it, but I was like, I said to myself, you know what? Let me see if this is going to happen. I'm going to do exactly what they said, and they're going to tell me. They told me what to do, so I'm going to do it. And if it happens, like exactly like they said, that I know this was real, and that that I wasn't dreaming, and that they're real, right? And so that happened, and everything that they've said up until this moment has happened. I've had experiences when I was, for example, with Nicholas Michael Tarpey, my ex-roommate, 24 hours before the event happened, I saw everything happen. Like I had dreamt that I was walking across the street, hearing Nicholas, and then me running into the forest. And then I saw the goddess Hecate in the forest where I was trying to get away from Nicholas and his, basically, he was just trying to ruin my life. And she gave me a choice. She said I could either A, hide in the forest in the darkness and that I would be protected and that they would not find me, or I could choose to go to a racetrack and go to jail and help these people, right? In this jail. And I had seen there were a bunch of different people that were from jail that they they were people that wanted me to watch over them to help them with their spiritual growth. Some of them just there were even souls that were like, never mind, I'm not ready yet. So it's very interesting. And I made a bunch of different contracts to help certain people. And I said all my contracts from jail ended when I left jail. So when I left, it was done. I'm over, Um, it was just very interesting. Um, let's see. So, and then I remember walking through this. It was like a stone door frame, right? Very rigid, and there was this rainbow light portal thing. And from what I understood was that this jail experience would basically push me forward by leaps and bounds in my spiritual, mental, and emotional maturity and evolution and growth. And that's exactly what it did. While I was in jail, I met a jailhouse lawyer, Sasha, and and he was actually, I find it very interesting because he knew about sovereignty and he almost managed to become sovereign in when he was in prison being falsely accused of stuff. Um, and they cut him off. He was like one piece of paperwork away from becoming completely sovereign. And when you're completely sovereign, you're detached from the government, so they cannot hold you. So they denied access whatsoever, and it was just very interesting. So he knows a lot about the government, and the government tries to pin him with a lot of basically BS, not true charges, just to. They gave him a nickname called Hush Money. It's really interesting. Um, while I was there, he gave me a symbol, a sigil of Archangel Haniel. That started I would like to say that I fell into it because there was Haniel, and then I was doing meditation while I was in jail, and that's when I met Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Uriel. Then Metatron and Sendifon, and then I later got into the Kabbalic and the Tree of Life and the angels, like Raphael and the zodiacal angels, the planetary angels, and then the 72 Shemham Farash. And so I fell into that. And then then once they said I was ready, they wanted me to work with the Goretia to see both sides, to integrate both in my life, to have that balance. And then the demons actually referred me a lot to the dragons, and then that started me being guided later on in the years to Drake's channel called Working with Dragon Mystic. And shout out to Drake with Working with Dragon Mystic. Definitely check out his channel. He is a wonderful, powerful occult practitioner, or I think he prefers the term magician. And you should definitely check out his videos. He has tons of information. He even has a school. I believe it's called workingwithdragonmystic.com. But there's a link to his online school on his YouTube channel, Working with Dragon Mystic. And I'm going to put that. Oh, didn't even do it. Hold on. Dragon Mystic. I think that's I'm pretty sure that's the name of the channel. So, there's that. Um, so, there were also experiences in jail where I had been isolated. There was one time where the spirits of the facility, these spirits were not really nice. They wanted to drain people of their life force and of their, energy. This was not a good place for someone who's very light and happy and very, sunlight, right? Not a good place for someone like me. And I started putting these angel symbols and stuff that I was given by the angels, right? Man, they were always so pissed off. I tell you, they influenced the guards to do like inspections, and I would find that the sigils would be gone, or it'd just be crazy, crazy stuff. So it was just very interesting. And, then one time I had this mysterious purple tag or something, and I truly believe that was the spirits there trying to. And the first time they isolated me, these entities were trying to make a deal with me, promising me that. Sorry, I laugh because it's so funny that saying, "Oh, we'll help you get out," but I'm like, I can see through your bullshit, right? They wanted me to make a contract, and I'm like, nah, honey, haha. I said, why don't you work for me? Then we'll talk. Once you become my servant, then we'll talk. Because I don't trust you. You gotta prove yourself to me, honey. You ain't gonna make me sign a contract and you try to scapegoat me, because right? So pissed them off. Then I go back to Papa Place, and then I come back to the bubble. And during that time, the angels came. I was taught things. I was shown things. It's actually where I learned this. This is where I learned in that second time the secrets of the universe, the 369. That whole saying by Nikola Tesla. I learned that, and I was. It's amazing. Um, if I wasn't who I was, I probably would have been snapped, gone crazy, feral. Like I was crazy. I just look back and laugh. It's like, is that really me? Is that really me? You know, because it's like, how I've been through all this BS and I'm still sane. I haven't gone crazy yet. It's like looking back and like, damn, I've been through all this BS and I'm still this loving person, very sane. Um, it's like you would think that the stuff I've gone through is like, bruh, how are you still kicking? You know, like that's right. And then I kind of just say, I don't know, just do what I do because I don't know how I'm still kicking. I really don't. And it's so funny because it's like, man, it's like, bruh, how are you still fucking alive? How are you still kicking? And I think that's what some of these spirits don't get is that no matter how many times you knock me down, I get back up. But what they don't realize is that what I've always learned is that if you let someone knock you down and keep you down, bitch, they've already won the war, right? So if they knock you down, they've won the battle, but you get back up and like, yo, I got you next time, I'm gonna get you. Like, you know, you ain't gonna knock me down. What's the song? You ain't gonna get me down, get me. What's it called? You know, it just what's that song? It's this really peppy song. I'll think of it and play it another time. So what else? I do want to back up a little bit to when I was. I want to talk about this first before I go back up a little. So the third time I went to the the whatchamacallit, the bubble, right? Um so skip this. It's so crazy. There was a being. I would say he's a manifestation. He does work with chaos magic and stuff, right? And he had this. I knew he was connected to the spirits of the jailhouse, and he was telling me that they and him have three different categories. There's the light, the dark, and the chaos. Well, apparently, I don't fall into any of those. And he said that I'm the worst kind of person because I'm very unpredictable. I am all of those and can, on the fly of a whim, I could be one or the other, or this or that. And that's what makes me so dangerous. Because, yeah, if you piss me off and I'm light and fluffy one minute, I'll be like, what's up? What you gonna try to you want to come up with me for? Try to take my energy, please. You know. So I can be like very boom, boom, all over the place. You know, be like, you can't see me kind of vibe, you know, stealth, you know. And so he's basically saying I'm very unpredictable. And that's dangerous for him and his parents. It's just like, oh, so that's why they don't like me because I'm very unpredictable. Hell yeah, I mean I am. But that's what makes me so powerful because you don't know what I'm gonna do next. And to be like, hey there, buddy, you know, you don't know what's coming. Bitch, I'm not motherfucker that people, you don't see me. I'm the darkness of the night. I am Batman. No, I'm playing. I ain't Batman. But it's like, you know, I swoop down. It's like, hey, you know, yeah, so that's so interesting. And so let me back up. During my time with Nicholas Michael Tarpey, I had thought he was a good person in the beginning, but then later on, he just was this piece of crap. I mean, I know that he has matured, but still, like the shit he's put me through, um, it's just what a total asshole. So there'd be experiences where I was led by this, I want to say bird, and I was led to this space where all of these just black gnats, and it's just so weird because it felt like I was like in this very dark, like I stepped out of this dimension, right? And there was a wheelbarrow, and I could feel this vibe, this intent for that someone wanted to kill me. And like when I was getting numbers, I just remember seeing Nicholas's face, so I knew that he had that intention to basically kill my light and ruin my life. Um, and so I was getting bit, and I went out the forest. I saged my ass. I went home and saged my ass. Like, whatever it was, I wanted it gone. And then there was an experience that night where I know I wasn't dreaming. I left my body and went to the across the creek, the canal to the spot, and there were like these souls trapped by this entity. I call it an ancient one because it seemed to be like one of those ancient beings of the earth, very, very, very ancient. And from what I understood, there are several of them trapped on the planet, and they kind of reminded me of the story of the Titans. And you know how the Titans were like kind of chained all over the world, and so I think that's kind of the best reference I can come up with, but I don't know for sure if it was a Titan. But what it was doing was it was taking all of the light, making it dark, putting a little bit of his own essence in it, and then putting it back into that soul. Basically turning it into a complete mutated soul, like dangerous, right? It's the best term I got. I know it's the best way I can explain, but it's probably not the exact way I would explain it. If I had the ability to explain it better, I would. And so I was releasing these souls and getting them, and I was helping them. There were some Native Americans. There was this little girl, like like Little House on the Prairie, that kind of era. Pilgrims. It was like I released them, and I made a back door for them to leave. And the spirit was angry, and it tried to get me. And I remember just boop, teleporting boop to my house, and boom, back in my body. There were experiences where not so great, shall we say. I don't call them rogue witches because they do not follow the balance. They do not care whether you're light or dark or chaotic. And I've felt as though like I've had my fair share of rogue practitioners, as I like to call them. I know that there's such a thing as rogue dragons, but everyone follows the balance. This is from what I've learned. To go against the nature of true balance, that's what really makes you like rogue. If you're trying to destroy the multiverse, that goes against the balance of the multiverse. And I just must, for some reason, either I don't know why they attacked me, but from what I could gather, they had someone in their midst, as far as like a master, who basically wanted to use my energy to revive it, right? To revive their master, right? And so I've been dealing with that. But the higher I am, the less likely they'll be able to get to me, because the higher vibration you are, they're say this is number one, right? This is over here. This little fist is number one. Say I'm on 1,000, and that's way up here. So they would have to get to the high vibration of 1,000, but in order to get there, they'd have to let go of a lot of things, not and not go against balance, but they're stuck. So the more my vibrations are raised, the more stronger I energetically become. the more I don't have to worry about that in the long run. What else? I mean, there's a bunch of different experiences that I can go on and on and on about. Um, yeah, there's a bunch of different experiences. Let's see. Hmm. I don't think. Are there any other experiences? I think what I'll do is end this live stream because I don't think there's really anything else that I can really say at the moment. Oh, there is one more thing that I want to add. While I was still living with Nicholas Michael Tarpey, I did accidentally. Uh, I don't think it was an accident because just thinking back, it was like, whoa. So I bought some. It was Angelica shrooms, Angelica root, witch's hazel, mugwort, uh, valerian root. I think that was it. I think that was it. And I had thrown them all into a pot and was burning them in the house. And it's very interesting because I know he had his own thing, but he went to the dark side. It's okay. But like, I was watching Charmed, right? I was watching Charmed, the old school Charmed, and Phoebe was having her vision quest, right? And it's so interesting because during my vision quest, I had seen a wolf, a black wolf. Um, I was following it, trying to make, I was like, wait for me, because it was trying to lead me, but it was going super fast. I lost it and somehow ended up in the Egyptian pantheon and then saw the Book of the Dead, saw me out and stuff. But when they looked at me, it was like, oh, it's not time, you're early, go back. So they were like, basically, it's not time yet for you to connect with us, go back. And so I ended up in these revolving doors, and I managed to see the wolf go through one of the revolving doors. So I went through, and there was these stone circles with these stones that were big and round, and they had writings on them, like very ancient writing, very either want to say druidic or maybe like fey letters or something. And you know, I saw a white wolf and the black wolf, and now I saw two. It was like, well, um, then, um, good evening. I am the goddess Isis. I come here on behalf of Ra and the entirety of the Egyptian pantheon to deliver a message. There's a powerful event, a shift in the planet's energy that will happen during the third week of June. Understand that what will happen is for the sake of the planet, and to not be afraid. This energy is necessary in order to progress the planet, to push people to seek answers through spiritual means and spiritual tools such as spiritual medicines. So do not be afraid for what is to come and what will happen in this third week of June. There will be an energy shift, and the energy shift will propel people to go to spiritual medicines to seek guidance from spirit. Do not be afraid for what is to come. Okay, so I thank you, Isis, for bringing that message through. Wow, hey, very intense. Um, okay. That was interesting. Where was I? I don't even know where was I. Oh yeah, so I had this vision quest, and I remember seeing the Lady of the Lake and the Excalibur thing like that, which I don't think Excalibur was a sword. I mean, I think that was more of a physical object. You know, from what I understand, magical objects, there has to be a lot of people to worship something for it to become divine. If 100 people for 100 days worship this person or this entity or this object, the inanimate object would become conscious, or if it's a physical person or entity, they would get more power because they're using the mental thought energy to be from the people to project, and that provides more strength to them to be eventually a god. In a sense, that is how godship works, worship. But that's one way of becoming a god or a goddess, but it's not the only way. So where was there with this? All right. So I say these. I will call them. I would say like giants. They're really tall. I could barely see their hands. I just saw these trumpets rise up, and there's this golden trumpets with the banner with the green. I will draw it one day, but it's basically green embroidery with a silver embroidery, and then a green flag with the silver embroidery with the silver triquetra on it, right? And then I was walking down this cobblestone path, and I was going through that same stone door with the rainbow light, and it's interesting now that I think about it. I've had multiple experiences where I've seen this door made of stone with just a rainbow light gateway, and I'm wondering if that's like referring to the gateway of like I can utilize that to shift into other realities, thinking it's the gateway. So maybe I should try to figure out what that is and try to utilize that more. Um. So yeah. Um. Let me just text this person so she knows. This is just a YouTube video. So yeah. Let's see. Uh. There was one time where I was opening my. I know telepathy, how it works is we've created these mental barriers because we have all these fears and stuff. What you gotta do is you gotta feel these mental barriers and let them down in order to open yourself up to the thoughts of everything in the entirety of the multidimensional universe. It can be intense, but as I was lowering these barriers down, I was connecting with the aliens on the moon, and I felt like these bug people, as well as like I know what they are because I later discovered who they were from the Blue Planet Project book, and I was like, whoa! Now I know who these were, but turns out these are some gray. They call them grays, and I was seeing them zooming around my house, and then there was this big. I was like really scary, kind of like very protective over the grays, and it was like I guess in a way wondering why the hell I was here connecting with them. And I said, I'm sorry. um, I was just trying to connect with the aliens, extraterrestrials. for guidance, and I just didn't mean anything, and it got really aggressive, and I could tell it was very protective, and it was just very scary, which is fine. I mean, I later discovered, that was like a bug. It was really big bug dude, bug head, big and burly, and he was very protective for sure. Anyway, those are most of the experiences I can come up with right now. I'm gonna take a break and end this live stream so I can get ready for my friends who are coming over. But kisses, loves, blessings to all of you. Know that you're beautiful, powerful shamans, warriors, sealers. You're all of that in a bag of chips. Now you that badass motherfucker. So, um, just keep being you. Kisses, loves, and hugs from me to you.